They told me follow my heart. Who would have thought that it'll lead straight to you? 'Cause I never known. I've been dreaming of a fairy tale love, imperfection that I never give up.
All right. This is Shady Will. Y'all see this young lady sitting in front of me? This is Miss Joi Stone. And she is my guest today on Who I Love, I Don't Discuss. Now, you are the last lady that I'll be talking to in the marriage series. Well, from the female perspective. So it's why did I get married?
Okay.
From the female perspective. So once again, I really appreciate you giving me your time to sit down and talk with me. First of all, before we get started, how was your day?
Today was a good day. Today was very good. Church was great this morning.
Okay. And for those that are watching, we were kind of talking behind the scenes about you in church. You've been involved in church for quite a while, right?
Yes, I've literally been in church all my life.
Okay. So look, that kicks off the conversation. Okay. So being in church your whole life, maybe. So what tender age were you when you actually started going to church?
Before I was born. I mean, my mom was pregnant with me singing in the choir at church.
Okay. And from what I hear, you can sing also, right?
I do sing, yes.
Okay. So look. All right. So throughout your youth, church has been in your life your whole life.
Right.
A part of church, what people say is marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So when in your life did you realize that being a wife would be a part of your life?
Oh, I would probably have to say, honestly, I probably have to say as soon as I started, probably school, being around, other kids, other guys, little kids, because apparently from what I was told, when I was 6, I told my ex-husband's mother that I was going to marry her child.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. So do you remember how old you were when that happened?
She said I was 6 when I told her that.
Wow. And how old was he?
If I was 6, he had to be 8 because we're 2 years apart.
Okay. All right. So this is something you already said, so you knew what that word was
right.
At 6 years old.
Right.
All right. So what do you think about that word marriage? What is the significance of that word to you?
Well, it's definitely changed from when I was 6 to now. But marriage now is ministry. Okay. That's what that means to me now. From everything I've learned and experienced, marriage is ministry. It's not necessarily for you or your spouse. Ministry is for other people. Okay. So it's, pretty much God bringing 2 imperfect people together to show the world what his Christ-like love is supposed to be like.
Okay. So, you learned about the term through church, right. Through God. So did you feel that it was in your destiny to be married one day?
Yes, I did. I definitely did. I still do.
And how did you see it back then? How did you see that?
Back then, I was absolutely clueless. I just knew I wanted to be married. Growing up in a single parent household, there wasn't a male figure there. My mom was never married. So I just not only knew that I was supposed to be a wife, I also knew I wanted to be married. Okay.
And you say you knew you wanted to be married. You say your dad wasn't in the home or your mom wasn't married. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was never married.
Okay, so what did you see? What did you see when you seen people were married? Was it something that you see maybe in church or on TV?
It was just the togetherness, having a partner, not being by yourself or being alone. Right, which of course, you're never alone, but not being lonely, having somebody with you, a best friend that is always there.
Okay, so you did mention that your thoughts of marriage back then to when it actually changed as you got older. So right. What happened to change? And I don't want to say a fairy tale, but it's, it's something you kind of spoke into existence.
Right.
From what you thought it was going to be into what it was, what was that experience like for you? And what was your thought process? Or what is your thought process?
Ooh, it was different, from what you just see on the outside, not knowing what it takes to even make a marriage work. You just see two people together, holding hands, out eating or at the park strolling. You just see two people. Well, you think you see what happiness looks like, not really knowing what goes on behind the scenes. So what changed that? I mean, obviously, was being married. Going into something clueless and just pretty much having to figure it out on your own.
Okay, so figuring out on your own. How long was your marriage?
I walked away after 10 months.
But this particular person that you were married to, you've known that person for a very long time. So I'm pretty sure y'all knew the ins and outs about each other and everything about each other.
I felt I knew enough. Let me just say that.
Okay.
Of course, after the fact, you find out you never really know so much about a person. Yeah. But at that point, I felt I knew enough about him to want him to be my husband.
Okay.
Or what I thought, a husband in marriage was supposed to be.
Okay, so where did everything change in the marriage? When did you realize, because you did mention 10 months, when did you realize, like, okay, this is not going to work or this is not for me?
I probably would say around maybe 6 months. 6 months in, I probably had like this might not, but I also didn't have I don't think I had anyone to really go to or to tell me, okay, Joi, this is how things are going to be. Like, it's not always going to be, peaches and creams, rainbows and sunflowers. There are going to be times when, y'all don't see eye to eye or you're not going to agree. So I didn't know any of that. So I was just going based off of, what I saw other people doing and what I thought we were supposed to be doing.
Okay, and that's big because, like you said, perception is everything.
Right.
Okay, so prior to the marriage, did y'all have the opportunity of actually living with each other? And, like, how was the time spent before y'all actually got into the I do,
It was, everything honestly was quick. There was a situation he had gotten into and I kind of came in and I don't want to say swooped him up, but came in and just offered myself and my home for him to be there. So we did experience living together prior to getting married. And in that, it wasn't, I had obviously didn't know anything at that point, but I was young. So just having, like I said, that best friend there with me was what I thought was enough at the time.
Okay. So being that you experienced, and like I said, you have to experience that life for 10 months. What do you feel some things that, if you don't mind talking about it, that you feel like that you may have failed in as far as in the particular marriage,
I failed, well, from the jump, honestly, with the premarital counseling. It probably maybe was 2.5 sessions. Like, it didn't go for as long as it probably should have. Okay. So had the premarital counseling and I'd taken that as serious as I should have, probably wouldn't have gone along with the marriage. But, like I said, I was young, ready to be married. Yeah. When you go based off of our own timeline, I was already at the point where I felt I should have been married. So I just kind of let things play out. When the premarital counseling, didn't work, I was just like, okay, well, we'll just figure it out.
Okay.
So I probably should have taken heed to that, but I didn't. I wasn't worried about it at the time. I was just wanting to be married.
Okay. So, we did talk about what we see. Was there any type of movies you watched or anything like that kind of
course,
influenced?
all the movies. I've seen The Love Jones, The Best Man, Titanic is my all-time favorite, even though, Jack was hanging on in the water. But, and that's me. That's really how I built my perception on what marriage was, just by watching movies and watching TV. Okay. You see The Love Story in, what is it? A Different World with Whitley and Dwayne.
Okay.
So, you see stuff like that. And then the Huxtable. So you see stuff like that growing up as a child, not knowing really what it takes to get to that point.
Wow. So you went back, like, so that's that old school kind of loving that
Right.
you was used to, and like you got this Kool-Aid smile now, like, so that's true. Looking forward to getting when it actually happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we did talk offline. So, you said marriage is something that you can see because you in your future, because you said you believe that you are a wife.
Yes.
Okay. So what provisions or of anything, things that you think you would do different, if you were able to jump the bridge, to build that bridge with someone again, or jump the broom?
Differently, of course, the premarital counseling, to individual and like together.
Okay.
So starting there, obviously, having a God-centered marriage, keeping him in the center of everything. Also, I have to hold myself accountable for the things that I know that I would need to work on myself before getting there with somebody.
Okay.
So, just really being accountable, making sure that I have myself together so that when that opportunity is presented again, that even though I'll forever be growing and changing, I'll know for sure, going in, okay, I'm here. He's there. We can come together and, become one with God in the center.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, like moving on, along the line of what you just said, with your experience in being married, if you were to give us three things that you feel are important in becoming a wife again and having a husband, what are 3 single words that you can use that you would actually say you think are the foundations, or it could be something so that a marriage can be sustained?
Ooh, 3 words.
3 words, single words.
Okay. Communicate.
Okay.
Pray. And trust.
Okay. Okay. Trust. So why did you choose, break down each word and why you say that?
Communication is important because you have to be able to talk to your partner.
Okay.
Whether, that be just texting throughout the day, or when we get home in the evenings, just running through our day, or whenever a problem even arises, like talking things out is very important because you don't want to leave the space for an assumption.
Okay.
Because if things aren't talked about, either myself or my partner could just make things up and just run with it.
Right.
Praying, like I said, keeping God in the center. So whether that be praying about the things that I'm about to say before I say it, or just praying about different things that may come up in the marriage, like how to go about them. Because, they say marriage goes in cycles. So if it comes a time, where I'm not feeling like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, pray to get through that, to overcome it, for the cycle to come back around. And as far as trust, you have to be able to trust the person that you're with your emotions, with your heart, with your mind, like with everything, because that's the person that you're pretty much going to for everything, like after God. Yeah. So that's your person. So I feel like I should be able to trust what I'm telling you, and for sure trust what you're telling me, and not just that you're just talking.
Okay. So you gave us 3 keys to what you think could maybe lead to a successful marriage.
Yes.
When you cross that bridge again, and we kind of talked, about some of the movies that actually, movies and shows that actually kind of influenced in what you've seen. And that's a feel good. Like that's the feel good. I think like I say everybody, kind of see that. And like I said, when you were smiling, I was smiling with you too, because like I said, that's what I thought that that I would see as well. So what type of advice would you give someone who hasn't been married, who you've heard maybe hearing talk about marriage, because you're experienced? So like when I'm getting married, this ain't go. Like what type of advice would you give them?
For starters, everybody's marriage is different.
Okay.
Don't compare what you see to what you're gonna have, because like I said, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I've learned that people show you what they want you to see.
Right.
You're not always going to know how they got to where they are. So don't compare, like how I can't compare myself off the Huxtables, because obviously that was just the show. So that was scripted. So you cannot compare somebody walking down the street to, oh, I want something like that. Also, other than not comparing yourself, I would probably have to say to trust your instinct. Your gut is never going to guide you wrong. That's why you have to trust the instinct, but also pray as well. Because we can't always go off of our feelings. Feelings are indicators, not dictators on what you should do.
Well, wow. You said something right there. Wow. That was deep. Look, I really appreciate you sitting down and talking with me, about, your marriage experience, and hopefully that, that will enlighten someone, because the whole goal is to really paint the picture. Because, nowadays, you don't really see or hear a lot of people interested in that term, which is their choice.
Right.
It seems like it has like a negative cloud around it. What they say, the dating pool has pee in it.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, so like you'll never make it there, because that's where we see the water's already kind of,
right.
Messed up. But, I'm a big, advocate for that. And I think it's a beautiful thing, especially when it's done right.
Right. When it's done right. I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So in closing, is there anything else you want to say to your live audience, or anything who's watching you?
Oh, honestly, no, I think I've said it all.
Okay. Well, once again,
and thank you for having me.
Well, I thank you for coming on. And look, y'all are going to see this young lady again. Y'all got to see her on the Serene Season podcast. And we're going to actually try to get her on Before the Vision as well. Because like I said, this is an entrepreneur. And like I said, we're not here for that today. We're here to talk about love. So look, y'all, I'm Darien Willis. Look, we out. We go. Holla!